We haven't talked skincare in a while. It's one of my favorite topics, and that's what we're gonna cover today. So if you are new here, hello, welcome. My name is Rhian, and if you're not new, hello mate. Lots of you have been requesting for me to do a current skincare routine. If you, again, aren't familiar, I do only use cruelty-free and vegan products, so everything I'm showing you, vegan and cruelty-free. It will also be linked and listed down below. I do have combination oily skin, and I guess my concerns are kind of blocked pores and a little bit of like fine lines, I guess, shall we say. For most of you, this is going to seem like a lot of products, but you got to keep in mind this is my job to try out skincare, and I thoroughly enjoy it as well. It's like definitely a big part of self-care for me. I take my makeup off every night before bed, do my whole skincare routine, and I feel really gross if I don't, but it happens probably once every 6 months. Oh, and if you're wondering what the little contains paid product placement thing is on this video, it's because I'm going to be showing you some Derma E products. They are my actual favorites, but I do have a relationship with the brand. I'm on their Derma E squad, so those will be coming up later. So I'm going to be covering what I do in the AM, the PM, and then some additional kind of add-on things as well. Alright, so let's begin with the AM. So every morning in the shower, I use the Movis Solid Cleanser from Lush. I know there's sometimes talk of like whether you need to cleanse your face in the morning or not. I personally do like to cleanse in the mornings. I think it removes any oils or like sweat that may have built up overnight. And also it's going to remove any residual like sleep masks or anything like that I might have been using. So I do tend to use slightly thicker products in the nighttime. So you may have seen this if you watched my solid skincare products video. I will link it for you if you haven't. It is a very wheat-based facial soap. So it's a little squidgy. I've said this before. It just gives a very light lather, gives a really good clean to the skin, but doesn't leave it feeling dry or tight. So I'm a really big fan of this. And I'll either lather it in my hands and then use that on my face, or sometimes if I'm really lazy, I'll just like swipe it over a wet face while I'm half asleep and go from there. Rinse it and then get out the shower. And then this is another thing I wanted to mention, which is in my, I think it was in my last favorites video, and it's just like having a separate towel for your face. I actually have 2 of these, so I will switch them out halfway through the week, so I only use them, well, first of all, I only use it on my face. I only use them on clean skin. This one is from Wheezy Towels. They have really cute ones. It has a little loop on it, and it's just super soft and really absorbent, so you don't have to like be, you know, patting or rubbing at your face for too long. I literally just give it one of those and I'm dry. Next up is time for toner, and I think you know what it's going to be. And that is the Pixie Glow Tonic. I talk about this a lot. It is a 5% glycolic acid exfoliating toner. So for those of you who maybe aren't aware, you can basically get a chemical and then a physical exfoliant. Now a chemical exfoliant would be typically an acid of some kind, which I find it to actually be more gentle as long as it's one that works for your skin, versus a physical exfoliant, which will be more gritty or grainy, because those sometimes can be a little too scratchy. So I love to use acids in my skincare routine. I feel like my skin really likes them. It definitely helps me keep my skin much more balanced, because it is naturally like super oily in the middle, does get some dry skin buildup, normal everywhere else. So this is just something that works for me and I've used for a long time. This is my 2nd or 3rd giant one. That's ridiculous. So I pump it out onto my Marley's Monsters reusable cotton rounds. I do try and use like reusable things like this where possible, and then you just wash them and they're good to go again. And I just find this keeps my skin super smooth and free of any kind of dry skin buildup or texture or anything like that. So big fan. So this next product is something I will either follow up that toner with, or I may interchange the days that I use these. It just depends how my skin is feeling. So this is the Derma E Acne Blemish Control Treatment Serum with salicylic acid. I guess I'm just reluctant to tell you to like use both for sure on your skin, because I just don't know how it's going to react. My skin typically can take a little bit more when it comes to exfoliation, but if you are ever unsure, I would always recommend trying acids and things out very slowly. So maybe just trying it once every couple days and then building up a bit more. I just want to get that out there before you guys are like glycolic, retinol, salicylic, because your face might fall off. Back to the product. Salicylic acid is something I've used and loved again for a few years now. Salicylic typically works a little deeper and can get into pores, so it's great for breakouts, blocked pores. I use it on ingrown hairs. And then the glycolic is slightly more of a surface one. I think it's to do with this one being able to get through oils. I'm not sure, but check out CarolineHirons.com. Anyway, because like I said, I do have that concern of blocked pores and occasional breakouts. Usually if I'm eating well and not super stressed and drinking enough water and all of that stuff, my skin is pretty clear, but this is just really good at keeping any blackheads at bay, blocked pores. Obviously sometimes I do wear a lot of makeup if I'm filming or like trying out products for you, and so this is just something I like to use almost preventatively to stop getting so many like breakouts and blocked pores and stuff. It's pretty gentle, but also I do think it's very effective. So this has obviously salicylic, and then it has tea tree oil and aloe vera as well. And I just apply this anywhere that I know I'm likely to get breakouts or blocked pores. So around my nose. I also can sometimes get breakouts like on my contour line, even if I've not really been wearing makeup. I don't know what that's about. I went through a phase of always getting them like under my jaw as well. So you can use this as a spot treatment or as more of an all-over application. I would just keep it away from your eyes and any delicate areas. So although this is from their anti-acne line, I do find it to be really helpful and love it. Alright, so I've cleansed, I've toned, and I've serumed. Now it is time for moisture. I've been using 2 skincare products from e.l.f. and I've been enjoying them so much. So I use the e.l.f. Hello Hydration Face Cream. It has hyaluronic acid and a peptide complex, and you really don't need to use too much of this. It sinks into the skin really nicely, so it's great to use beneath makeup, but it also does just leave skin feeling like really quenched and hydrated. So I think that this is an awesome release from them, and I know a bunch of people have already been raving about it. e.l.f. are a way more affordable brand when it comes to skincare, and a lot of you know I love luxury skincare, high-end skincare, and this has really impressed me. So I do use this in the morning time just as like a light fix of hydration, and like I said, it's a great base for makeup as well. And then for the eye cream, I've been using the e.l.f. Beauty Shield Antioxidant and Enriched Skin Protection Smoothing Serum, and I do keep this in my skincare fridge. I'll link the video on it, it's ridiculous, because I like to put cooling things around my eyes. You know, I'm prone to a little puffiness, and this has tiny little roller balls in it, so it's like a nice little eye massage. You really don't need to use much of this. I'll definitely apply a lot less in the daytime and then a bit more at night. It's kind of a very thin texture. It's not super thick, or it doesn't like affect any makeup you put on top. I find it's just a really good thin hydrating eye cream, and especially if maybe you're just wanting to incorporate an eye cream in and you don't really know where to start, I've been really impressed with this, and it's definitely a way more affordable option than most out there. And then because every other time I've done a video like this someone comments no SPF, I do use SPF, but I just didn't include it in skincare before, so I'm going to now and tell you which one I use, and it's the Volition Prismatic Luminizing Shield SPF 50. Again, a nice kind of thin consistency, so for me that works really well. I prefer to use more light products versus like a couple of really thick moisturizers or whatnot. So nice thin consistency. SPF 50 has a nice kind of luminosity to it without being sticky. So again, great whether you're wearing it on a bare face or you're going to put it under makeup as well. So I do use SPF. Okay, so that is everything for the AM. Let's move on to the PM. So my cleansing routine at night does vary a little bit depending on whether I've got like a full face of like intense makeup from filming or whether I just have a little light makeup on or no makeup. So I'm just going to kind of tell you the general gist of what I do. These little things are face halos. They are makeup removing tiny towel things. Okay, you just get them wet, you don't need to use soap with them, and then I will just kind of like work away any heavy makeup. So most of it has gone by the time I finish with this, but there obviously is still some like sitting in my pores. If you've not tried these, I would say these are a really easy reusable switch to make if you're used to using face wipes. And I also did post a video to Instagram where I show you how to make your own face wipes too, if that's something you'd rather do. But these are just really great because you just get them wet. It will wipe away the majority of your makeup. And I feel like these are just a really great first step. So I do also use these to remove face masks as well. It's just like a nice, relaxing spa thing. And then I do a double cleanse. So that's like my pre-cleanse, which is just to remove the bulk of the spackle on my face. Then I do a doubler. And what I've been doing is, because I've been trying out a lot of the Lush solid products, I've actually been using the 7-3 cleansing pad. This is a fresh one because I just finished mine, so it's gone into the compost, and I'm saving this for when I'm traveling. This is basically a tiny little pad that has cleansing lotion in it. So I just get my face wet, get this wet, and then I will kind of like rub it over my face a little bit, or I will just lather it up in my hands and use that. And it doesn't necessarily go bubbly, but it is like having a very kind of thin cleansing lotion on your hands or on your face. So I just work that into the skin for a while, and I do actually really take my time to do it just because I thoroughly enjoy it, and I feel like, well, I mean, it's just like a better way of cleaning your face is to actually bother, I suppose. And I know on the site it does say that this is only good for like a few uses, but I used it probably for about, I want to say like more than 2 weeks, and I was still getting a little bit of lotion off on it, but mine had just like torn and was like, you know, falling apart. So definitely one I'll be keeping for travel in the future, but that is what I've been using lately and really been enjoying. And then for the second step, I go back to mow this and just finish everything off that way. My skin is so clean after all of that, but it's not super dried out, which is like, that's all I want. How do I know my skin is so clean after that, you may ask? Because I follow up with another toner and the wipe comes out with no extra makeup on it. At nighttime, I've been using the Pixi Retinol Tonic. This is my second of this size for me, so I used up a full other one and then I went and got this. I need to get a bigger one, but I just never see them available anywhere, so I think there is a size between these two. And this is the Retinol and Jasmine Flower Advanced Youth Preserving Toner. Retinol is probably something a lot of you guys have heard of and maybe think that it's going to be like really intense or really strong, but I do think this is a good one to try out if you are unsure. This one, much more gentle, but I find it still gives me that very smooth, clear skin. So certainly the combination of these two toners basically means that I don't often need to reach for any kind of physical scrub or exfoliant or anything like that. And again, I do separate when I use these two. So I do glycolic in the morning, this one at night. So then because I have basically thruple cleansed my skin by this point, I do like to just make sure I put as much hydration and moisture back in as possible. And I do like to use more like oils and things at night or thicker products. So what I start off with is the Derma-E Hydrating Mist. This is the hyaluronic acid and green tea spray. I basically use this for everything. I use it before I apply oils to my skin just to like lock everything in. It's such a good combination, you have to try it. I'll use it to set my makeup, I'll use it before makeup, I'll use it when I'm traveling if my skin feels really dry, and it's just kind of a wonder product for me. You probably have heard me talk about this a lot. So when my skin is like cleansed, toned, and nice and dry, I will spritz this on, and then I follow it up with either one of these oils. So this is the most expensive. It is the May Lindstrom Skin, the Youth Dew. This is actually the second one I've purchased. So they call it a balancing facial serum. I would say it's like a facial oil. I do think it has CoQ10 in it, which is really great for your skin, and I just find, again, it really helps balance my skin, leave it feeling very even, both in texture and in, you know, varying skin types with having oily and dry or normal areas. And when I used up the first one of these and then tried to like go back to using other things, I just found it wasn't quite right. Like, my skin loves this stuff. I wish it could be a little cheaper sometimes, but I have found that my skin does also quite like this from Lush, which is again one of their solid products. Definitely check out that video if you haven't already. This is the banana one. I hate bananas, but this is great. So again, clean skin, spritz of the facial mist, and then I will just do a swipe on the forehead, swipe down each cheek. That is all you need. These things get very melty on contact, so if you apply too much, you're gonna be slippery. You could just rub it into your fingers if you wanted to. Use it however works for you, but I do think this is a really, really beautiful facial oil, and I probably like alternate between these two at nighttime, so yes. Alright, so now we've covered the morning and the nighttime. I'm just going to show you my kind of sometimes products. So what I mean by that is these aren't things that I reach for every day, but they are things I maybe reach for more on a weekly basis. So I wanted to show you a couple of masks I've been loving. I probably use face masks once or twice a week. One that I've talked about for a long time is the May Lindstrom Skin Problem Solver. Again, super pricey, but I don't know what it is about her ingredients. They're just incredible, like very natural and earthy, but super duper effective. So this is one I will use on my skin, whether it's having like breakouts, blocked pores, like weird scaly patches, if I maybe have not fully removed my makeup before bed, which again, like I said, it's very rare, but I do slap this on in the morning to try and like recover. And this one is a powder. It smells like spicy hot chocolate. I'm obsessed with it. You just add a bit of water, mix it up, and then I apply it with a brush. And that one I basically leave on until it's dried, and then I'll remove it with the face halos. And it just like tightens, brightens, does everything that I need. I've had kind of like reactions to some skincare before where it will give me like lots of tiny breakouts. That seems to just like draw everything out, and also just helps like inflammation, everything. Really wonderful option. And then more recently, I have also added in the Derma E Vitamin C Instant Radius Citrus Facial Peel. You may have seen me use it on my Instagram stories. This one I more so use if I want my skin to be much more bright and exfoliated as well, because it does have alpha hydroxy acids in it. And the reason I found myself reaching for this is because it only takes 3 to 5 minutes to work, which I think is awesome if your skin is maybe like looking a little dull or tired, or is maybe like a little dry or flaky, or maybe you had a breakout that hasn't like quite fully healed. I find this just does a really great job of smoothing everything out really quickly. This one I find does give me that kind of tingly feeling, but I'm quite used to it from using previous products in a similar vein as this. But I just find this to be super effective and fast. So for those of you who maybe don't have a bunch of time to like sit and enjoy your like mud mask or whatever, this one does a really great job of giving you that smooth exfoliated face that looks brighter, and it does it quickly. It literally smells and looks like they've pureed orange peel. It does come with a little spoon. You can use that to apply it to your face, or I will usually just use my fingers and I will rub it into either the entire face or just areas where I feel like I need it. So I might just use it, say, over the cheeks if maybe I have some breakouts there, or maybe on the forehead if I have like weird texture. This is one I set a timer for because I do not want to leave it on for too long. So I usually go for like 4 minutes because I can't decide on 3 or 5. And some might say 4 is halfway between the two. So once this is cooked, you can use the little spoon to kind of like massage it in and then wipe it away if you want to. But again, I will use the face halos, and I just find as soon as I wipe it away, my skin is like super smooth and it's like I've just had a facial. It's delightful. Oh, one thing I don't have with me, I kind of forgot about, I'll pop it up on the screen, are the e.l.f. eye masks. I'm obsessed with them. It's the charcoal ones. They just fit under the eye beautifully. They plump up any fine lines, and they're like a lifesaver when I have puffy or dry or tired looking eyes. They just like smooth everything out. And I do keep them in my skincare fridge. I don't know why I didn't grab them out when I grabbed my eye cream, but there we go. I'll link them below. And then the last thing that I use sometimes every day and then sometimes every other day, it just depends, is the Coola Sunless Tan Anti-Aging Face Serum. And this is probably the best facial sunless tanner I've ever come across. It is a gradual one, but even after one use, you will notice that you just have a slightly more golden glow to the skin. And then if you use it over a few nights, it will obviously build up a little bit more. So like I said, sometimes I will use this every day, sometimes I will use it just a few days in a row and then skip, or every other day. It really depends. And the reason I like this is not only because of the color it gives, but it does have really great ingredients. So it has argan oil, vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, plant stem cell cultures, and I just find they've done a really good job of creating like a hybrid product. It's a tanner and it's also really great skincare wise as well. Wash your hands after you use this. I think that might be it. So like I said, I am very aware that to a lot of people this is a lot of products, but this is just what works for me, what I enjoy using, and what my skin likes. So all of these products will be linked and listed in the description box down below. If you have any questions on any of this or think I've missed anything out, I'll go ahead and meet you down in the comments. All of my social media will be on the end screen to come, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.